What's up, guys? Welcome to Let's Talk About It. I'm Tanaya. We're going to be talking about Real Housewives of Potomac. Okay, the reunion part 3. This whole reunion series, crazy. Absolutely freaking crazy, but we're going to be talking about part 3 today. So let's get right into it. Okay, so I'm just going to be talking about a few points that kind of like stood out to me. All right, I'm not going to go through every single tiny little part. But let's get into the whole little beef between Karen and Candace. So Candace is upset at Karen because Candace wanted Karen to be like, Team Candace, let's ice out Monique. Let's not film with her. Let's say she was so wrong. I need you on my side. If you were not on Candace's side, then you were an enemy to her. She didn't want anything to do with you. And I felt like throughout the whole season, Candace was like, she likes Karen and she likes being friends with Karen, looks up to her, whatever. But I felt like every time she saw Karen after the fight, she was trying to convince her as to why she could only be like Team Candace. And like, it was just not an option for Karen to be friends with both of them. Even though Karen knew like both of them were wrong, and of course she wasn't in support of Monique, like fighting her or pulling her hair, anything. But it's like, why is it wrong to be in the middle? Like, it's the worst place to be, but it's not wrong to be in the middle. If I had two friends that I've been hanging out with for years, right, show or not, and they got into a fight, I cannot choose sides. You guys both are my friends. You have to squash it the heck out, or I am going to find a way to hang out with you and hang out with you and not all together. That's it. So I just felt like it was unfair of Candace to keep nagging at Karen, trying to get her to just be on her side. And it's like, Candace, even if she did agree with you when she said, oh, if it was me, I would press charges, whatever, because she knew the whole situation was wrong, that doesn't mean that she can't hang out with Monique. It doesn't mean that she just got to cut her off. And some women feel that way. Like, if they have beef with somebody and you're their friend, you have to have beef with that person too. But this situation is different because all of y'all was friends. So it's like, it's just real annoying. So when Karen brought up how Candace said, you know, you can basically burn in eternal hell, I was just like, ooh. You know, like, that's not something that friends say to each other. So when Candace was kind of like trying to like shoot it down, like, oh, whatever, like, it's not a big deal, like, friends don't say that to each other. Like, I felt like that was just like a bit much. You know, if you were frustrated at her for Karen calling production on you, Karen claimed she called production to get Candace some help or whatever, that's deep. That's a whole, I feel like they didn't spend no time on that. Because for Karen to call production on Candace based off of those exchange of words, Karen felt threatened. And she's like, listen, this girl crazy. She's still crying after 6, 8, 10, 12, 150 million months after this fight. Get her off the show. She ain't coming after me, crazy. And I low-key think it's because a lot of those ladies know that Candace's mouth is crazy. So they don't either want her to provoke them into them trying to hit her, or having her finally being the one to swing first. So, I don't know. Do you guys think Karen was right or wrong for calling production on Candace? How y'all feel about the whole situation with them too? Would you basically want your friend to side with you and you only if you and another person you got in a fight were all friends? The next thing we're going to get into is Monique finally apologized at the reunion for the fight. So Monique basically owned up to, you know, she takes accountability for her part in everything. And, you know, she was very specific about her words because she didn't want it to make it seem like the whole fight was all on her. But when she was apologizing, I don't know if anybody out there felt the same. I was just glad. I'm like, okay, great, Monique. Finally, you said freaking sorry. You know what I mean? Like, I was just glad to hear it. It's like, even though I know like she probably doesn't really feel like all that sorry, because I'm like, when you're mad at somebody and they talking at you at the mouth and they keep poking at you, when you finally take action about it, like, you may feel like, dang, why I do that, but it's gonna make sense in your head why you did what you did. So she probably wasn't like all that sorry, which I understand, but it was just nice to hear her say it, because it's like Andy over here freaking turning on her at the reunion. That's a whole nother conversation. I felt like Andy was so freaking biased throughout the review. Like, Andy, okay, clearly you think Monique is wrong, okay, but why are you taking digs at her finances? That was in part 2. Why are you taking so many digs at her, saying that certain things that Monique said happened in the fight that's clearly on camera, that production replayed? Why are you saying those things didn't happen in the fight when it's clearly on video? Did you watch the tape? Like, I just felt like he was just coming for her, and Monique really like held herself really well, because I know she caught all of that. Like, she had to catch all of that. And I just think Andy, as the host, like, he should just stay the host. Like, I don't think he should take sides. I understand there was an altercation, but it was just very obvious at how biased he was, and I just didn't appreciate it as like him being the host. I just thought, like, just no, absolutely not. But back to Monique's apology, I was glad she finally did apologize. Of course, Candace wasn't going to accept it, because Candace is a whole nother type of person. She's very dramatic, but she's also very rah rah rah. But then as soon as you go swing, she's hiding under a rock and she's playing, oh my God, attack. Oh, let me sue. She's that type of chick. So it's like, you can't be both. Either you rah rah rah, you fight, you square up, or you the type to just go and sue somebody and like cry your eyes out until everybody hates that other person and you get them kicked off and all their deals go left and whatever, and you ruin their money. You got to pick one or the other. You can't be both types of chick. Sorry, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Do you guys think that Monique's apology was sincere? I think that she just had to say it. I think she just had to say it. You know, and I think she knew that it would look good to say it at the reunion, because I think in part 2, when they finally started to ask about like how she felt about it, when Candace was crying, when they first started talking about it, I think she would have apologized. Like, that would have been the first thing she said. So the fact that it came up in part 3, I think she just realized, like, let me just apologize for her part and try to just squash this and move forward. Even though I know she won't be friends with that girl. She won't have nothing to do with her. Nothing to do with her. And she shouldn't. She shouldn't. And, you know, sometimes, like, friendships just don't work. You know, like, you try, and sometimes you just are not a fit, or you grow out of each other. Period. Or you realize that that person is not loyal to you and you can't be friends no more. You can't force something that ain't meant to work. Like, and if you try to make it work and it just ain't working, it's just not gonna work. You gotta move on. Period. Alright, we're gonna move into Chris. Man, Monique's husband really was on camera saying that he was gonna stop them girls out. That is terrible. That is such a bad look for him. Such a bad look for him and that family. I understand like how frustrated they must be. These women was talking about, you know, their kid wasn't his kid, and Monique had some affair with her trainer, which is so low. And then Andy tried to say, oh, but it wasn't aired, so that rumor didn't start. It's like, Andy, I swear that whole crap was so messed up. Like, Andy was But anyway, I think it was wrong for Chris to be like, yeah, I basically would stop all them out. Like he was ready to pull up and fight. I wish if I was a woman, what I would do, and blah blah blah. So like, if I was another female, I would be like, what the heck is he doing? Like, why? You know, that would make me have to get my man involved. You know, like I wouldn't really feel cool around him, to be completely honest. With Giselle having that extra security guard, I just think Giselle is extra and dramatic and messy in general. So I just don't take anything she does serious at all, which is like sad. But I didn't take that serious. I thought that was just her being extra. But like, for somebody who's not your typical messy, dramatic kind of person, like I would just think that a lot of people would feel a little on guard, like, oh, okay, he just said on camera he would stomp me out if he was a girl. I wouldn't want to be around him, to be honest, if I was any of the other ladies, period. And talking about the whole baby rumor with Chris, because that was like his biggest point he wanted to get across, that it was wrong to talk about his child, which absolutely they shouldn't have did. Like, they shouldn't have done it. And why at the reunion, like, everybody wanted to act like, oh, this didn't happen, that didn't happen, but all the stuff was on camera. Like, Candace, why didn't they put Candace's live video clip? She went on Instagram Live and was saying how there was a plot against Monique with the whole baby not being Chris's rumor. Like, you're on camera saying that. You should have went to the reunion and admitted that. But they have like video of Chris when he was on live and put it on, but they didn't take Candace's. And it's like everybody's taking sides and nobody's on like Team Monique at all. Like, everybody just wanted to push her out. And everything was kind of done like in favor of Candace. So it's like, why are y'all covering for her? Like, if you're gonna like, if everybody's gonna be biased, production, the host, whatever, put out all the facts, not just certain ones that benefit another person. I thought that was so messed up. But to get back to it, I loved how they asked everybody in a circle, you know, like, did you talk about the whole rumor? And everybody but Giselle said no. And it's just like, Giselle, we saw you within like the first episode or two talking about this rumor. That was the only time that it was introduced to the show. So if she never said nothing, then it wouldn't have gotten aired at all. Like, it wouldn't have come up at all throughout the season. So it's like, you did, girl. Even if you heard it, you brought it to the show and they aired that. And I didn't understand why they all kept saying, Andy kept saying, oh, but it didn't air. The rumor didn't air. Yes, it did. It did. We watched it. We saw it. What do you mean? That was so annoying. That was so annoying. But Chris definitely wanted to get his point across about nobody talk about my child, period. And I'm all for it. Like, kids are so off limits. I thought that was just so downright and dirty. But I think Giselle kind of brought that up because she didn't have nothing to really give to the show. You know, like, what else has she got to talk about but everybody else's mess? So the last point I'm going to talk about is Robin and Juan. And of course, Michael, who was not there. Of course, Juan and Michael weren't there this year. It would have been 4 parts if Michael was there. He got his own whole 2, 3, 4 segments. So the whole proposal situation with Juan and Robin, that was very, very cute. But Michael was like totally bugging that whole night, got into a fight with Candace's husband. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. So Michael basically was like hinting to his wife and to Giselle that Juan wasn't going to propose to Robin. It just couldn't happen. Like, he knew something or whatever. And he did make it seem like something's up with Juan. It'll definitely make a person who's like an outsider of the situation like, oh, Juan has something on the side. Like some type of cheating kind of thing that Michael knew about or something. It definitely came off that way. So it kind of sucked that Michael wasn't there. Like, either just shut it down or just, I don't know, air something out. I don't think he would, because I do think him and Juan probably are cool. But yeah, poor Ashley had to like try to, you know, do the best she could with all her and her husband's nonsense and mess. But do y'all think that Michael really knew something about Juan? I'm sure they probably have hung out. I don't even know. Maybe they have not hung out. Maybe Michael is just talking out of the side of his behind. I don't know. Michael is just a hot mess, honey. A hot mess. A hot mess. So, and the other thing that this is making me think of is when Michael got into the fight at Robin's proposal with Candace's husband, right? And you know how Michael was like, oh, you touched me, you touched me, you touched me. And he was like backing up and he's ready to like, that's like ready to sue, you know? As soon as like you provoke, and then as soon as the other person touched you, they ready to sue or whatever and claiming you attacked. It was funny because when you look back at that scene, Candace was all rah rah rah, I wish you would, like she's the aggressor, right? But she kind of does the same thing. So if Ashley would have came up and swung on her in defense of her husband, she would have been like, you hit me, I'm suing. So it's just another example of like how you can see both sides of Candace, and how it's like you just can't be both. You really can't be both. I'm so glad that case got thrown out between the two of them, because you can't provoke and then, you know, throw your hands up when you get the other person to react the way that you want them to. So I am going to end that video here. Let me know what you guys think about the Real Housewives of Potomac reunion part 3, and I'll see you next time. Bye.